Caroline Garcia is out of the US Open. She lost in straight sets to Zara Zua. But we're not here to talk about the tennis. We're here to talk about the reaction. She's received a lot of hate online, and we feel GTL should speak about it.
Welcome back, tennis fans. Normally we're speaking about great things that are happening at Grand Slams and especially the US Open, but unfortunately we have to address this on GTL. When something very, very unjust is happening in the tennis world, we need to speak about it. And Caroline Garcia, she has been the victim of, I'd say, online hate, online bullying, and this just comes from people who are essentially betting on tennis, losing, and then a tirade of abuse comes the way of the tennis player. And these are just normal human beings out there trying to do a job. They're trying to win, but when they lose, they don't deserve this type of treatment, do they, JG?
No, it's been happening for quite a few years now. I remember when we first started the podcast, it was quite a big topic, speaking to players on the Challenger Tour. They said they suffered with similar kind of abuse and trolling online. And we're living in an age now where every single tennis player is easily accessible to the general public and the general tennis fan. You can reach them, you can say whatever you want without many controls, and there's not much regulation on it. And I think people need to start being made accountable online. I've always said people should have to use some kind of certification to prove their identity, to open any kind of social media account. It's not got there. Let's see if Elon Musk can change some things on Twitter. But at the moment, it seems like it is a free rein for people to abuse others online. We do a podcast. We know what it's like. I get my fair share in the comment section, but nothing too drastic. And some of the ones that Caroline Garcia's got, we've seen death threats. We've seen other players have to suffer racist abuse, threats to family members. It's just so bad. And this is the message Caroline Garcia put out after losing her match. She said, These are some of the messages I received lately after losing some matches, just a few of them. There's hundreds. And now being 30 years old, although they still hurt, because at the end of the day, I'm just a normal girl working really hard to try my best. I have tools and I have done work to protect myself from this hate. But still, it's not okay. It really worries me when I think of younger players coming up that have to go through this. People that still haven't yet developed fully as a human, that it might really affect by this hate. And I don't think it's just an age thing. You can also look at it as experience as well. When you've not got that experience of being in the limelight, when it does happen and you are there, it's a lot to take in initially, and it can be very overwhelming. She then goes on to say, we are humans, and sometimes when we receive this message, we're already emotionally destroyed after a tough loss, and they can be very damaging. Many before me have raised the subject, and still no progress has been made. Social media platforms don't prevent it. I mean, I spoke about that. Despite AI being in a very advanced position, tournaments in the sport keep partnering with betting companies, which keep attracting new people to unhealthy betting. And that is what causes a lot of it. People have lost money on it, and they're so angry that they feel the need to take it out on the player, when really the players never told them to gamble on it. It's their kind of choice. The days of cigarette brands sponsoring sports are long gone, yet we are still promoting betting companies which actively destroy the life of so many people. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying they should be banned, as people are free to do whatever they want with their money, but maybe we should not promote them. Also, if someone decided to say these things to me in public, he could have legal issues. So why online are we free to do anything? Shouldn't we reconsider anonymity? I can never say this word. Anonymity. Yeah, online. I know those who write these terrible messages won't change because of this, but maybe next time you see a post from an athlete, singer, or any other person that has failed or lost, you remember that she or he is also a human being trying his best in life. Be kind, give love, enjoy life. Carol.
Yes, very well said, and I think this has resonated with a lot of people all around the world, like especially other tennis players, that they're really like under the cosh when it comes to like when they're having a big loss. Like she said, they go to the dressing room, they sit down, they've really like depressed, some of these players already, and to see your inbox start filling up with stuff like this, like you should consider shooting yourself. A clown belongs in the circus. I hope your mum dies soon. I mean, who writes that to someone? And then the last one, you're a piece of shit. I mean, it's just disgusting. I mean, who actually sits down and sends that to another human being? Like, don't care how angry you are. You don't know that person. You've just put a bet on out of your own money, and that's most likely. I'm sure there are other people who are just horrible just sending this stuff anyway. This is just people who are just like got a bad taste in their mouth. It's their own fault, and they're trying to take it out on somebody who. This is a sport. People can win or lose at any time. The favourite doesn't always win, as we know in any sport. And we've seen crazy things in lots of sports. Anthony Joshua got knocked out by a short little tubby Mexican one time. That was a massive upset. What did Anthony Joshua? What happened to him? He was terrible. He was down in the dumps and that. I'm sure he received tons of hate, but probably slightly harder to bully somebody who's 6'6" and could knock your block off if you to see him in the street. Probably easier to bully a poor French girl who's just finished losing and going out of a slam early.
Yeah, no, I mean, totally. It's just so wrong. It's like, I feel like we're at the stage now where rather than just speaking about the same old issue, we should probably focus our time on how this can improve. And I've already put some ideas out at the start of this episode. I think that'd be a good thing to speak about. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. This very much is an open discussion. The first step, I think, is everyone needs to be easily accountable for their actions and easily identifiable online, whether that is some kind of passport or driving license to prove your identity to open an account, and then the necessary repercussions, just like in the same way you would do if you was in person and you hurled abuse and said something about someone in a derogatory matter, especially if it's sort of racist, threatening to someone's family or livelihood. There is consequences for this kind of stuff. It seems like online you're just able to get away with a lot more. So we should be thinking about these kind of solutions. The other one, which you did touch on, which I'm very passionate about, is gambling as a whole. Me and you, we both do gamble from time to time. We are familiar with tennis, gambling. Probably one of the big reasons we got into doing these podcasts to begin with. However, there's a line, and you need to understand everyone's entitled to do what they want to do with their money. I'm not against tennis gambling at all. When that then sort of spews onto you hurling abuse at the player and putting them and their feet, they're not really in safety, if anything, because what it does do, it stirs up this mob mentality where if enough player gets enough hate, you will get some crazy lunatic who rides along on this, and you never know, they could end up turning up to your house and putting a brick through the window, or I don't know, God fearing, it could be worse, cause danger to yourself or the player or the family. So it's not a great route to go down at all. And I think gambling should be allowed in thing, but why the hell are the tours promoting it? We all know why, because of money. And unfortunately, money is the killer of modern day society. All of these establishments who are rich people stripping the working class individual happens so much in tennis, and money talks. And unfortunately, they're never going to get rid of the betting sponsors because they pay good money. And I think it should all be banned, not just in tennis, across every sport. The Premier League in football, a big one. Just enough of the betting sponsors.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really tough to do. I mean, a lot of these places sponsored by casinos or that type of thing. Some in other sports, they even have their events in casinos. I mean, it's just it's nearly impossible to get betting or the people involved with gambling out of sports whatsoever.
Well, there was a period in the Premier League betting where there was, I think, 12 or something out of the 20 Premier League teams with a betting sponsor on their kit.
It's terrible. I mean, when you see it can affect people, and I know that we're saying that it affects like players and it affects them from the messages they're receiving, but we have to talk about actual gambling as well, and how much of a negative thing this is for certain people, because it is an addiction that people do face, and it can ruin people's lives if it falls into the wrong hands and they don't have the right advice, or they can blow their own full life savings, they can blow their family's life savings, they can blow a business's life savings. I've known people who have had this happen to them, and they've destroyed their own family over this type of thing, and it's really, really horrible to see. And those are probably the people who are so angry that they send these type of messages, because they're addicted. It's an addiction that they're promoting and they're advertising. I don't know, I think we're going to be getting any betting sponsors anytime soon after doing this, but I don't think it matters. We know we're responsible when we do it, and we know that everybody, they can lose at any point. So it's on you if you want to take a risk. It's called gambling for a reason, because you don't know if you're going to win or not. And I think that the other players out there, they echo what Caroline Garcia has said. Iga, the world number one on the women, saying thank you for this voice. That's in a reply to this tweet, and then she actually spoke out, I believe it was at the press conference as well, just saying about it as well. She says here, a few players have spoken about online abuse, hateful messages that they get. How do you think gambling has contributed to that? And do you see the messages from gamblers after matches about the match you've just played? And Iga said, well, it happened a couple of times, but I got to say that I'm not, going to my other inbox. And that's the key thing, because there is another one which from people who aren't your friends that send. And if you click in there, that's where all the hate is stored. It says, I'm only kind of seeing the messages from my close ones, the ones that I already accepted, but for sure, there is a lot of hate. She goes on to say how much gambling. I don't know the statistics, but you can see going down, Iga's totally against it. I watched the interview with Coco Gauff as well. I think Coco Gauff...
She was speaking about AI at the bottom as well, I just saw, and a lot of players have touched on that. There's definitely the technology here to make it a lot safer than what it currently is. Why don't they use it? And it makes me feel like there's a reason why they don't use it. I think some weird part of me is, in this world, what I've learned is they stop things. They can easily stop anything, I feel. Governments and media, these big establishments, but certain things they just leave by the wayside. So it must serve their best interest for things like this to happen. I don't know why. Try and work it out. But
I'm sure me and you have been discussing this type of thing a lot, and it's coming more to the forefront right now that it's blatantly obvious that in the UK, on Twitter right now, if you say something even remotely controversial, you go to prison in the UK at the moment for writing stuff on X or Twitter. Where's the punishment for these people? These are people hurling. If you were doing this on the street, and that's the argument from some of these people, if this was on the street and you walk up to Caroline Garcia and you hurl abuse at her, tell her to kill herself, all of this type of thing, surely the police...
They're not treated seriously, Ben.
Exactly, and this is what I mean. Like, it's double standards. Like, how can you lock somebody up just because they say something about being patriotic to their country, but you don't do anything about real hate speech online, which is the attack and tirade against professional sports people? I mean, it's crazy, double standards that are going. And like you said, the betting companies, it's all to do probably with money at the end of the day. Coco Gauff, I was going to say, she's a very wise head on young shoulders, and I think she's really taken the best approach. Remember, she had that US Open when she didn't even take her phone to the US Open, I believe it was. And this one, she just says, I watched the interview with her. She says, I'm a quick blocker. As soon as I see something, even if it's a tweet or anything, said sorry if it's only one time, but you're gone. That's what she does. She just blocks everybody. Block, 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 block. Everyone's gone. She said you might see something for a second, but they're gone. And I think that's quite a healthy way of dealing with things, to be honest. I mean, it's avoiding it, but at least she's got her own method.
Yeah, I mean, it works for her. You might think it's good, but I personally wouldn't go with that approach. I think by blocking them, it's showing acknowledgement. And when you acknowledge them, then it's showing that they've...
She said they come back as another account.
they come back as
exactly.
another account. I think all you're doing by doing the blocking approach is just fueling it even more. So that's
Maybe,
why I wouldn't opt for it. So you might think it's all right, she might think it's good. I think from my own experience, you get down that route, all it does is stirs up more.
As long
And
as she's
it's gonna keep
mentally
coming
fine,
back.
though. That's what I'm saying. That's what
Listen, whatever
yeah.
way works for you, and whatever way it does, we're just on here to speak about it and completely express our thoughts on how we are totally against anything like this, and we would love for the world to change for the better. Don't think it's going to overnight, but if anyone who's watching this video and they have in the past done it, don't worry about it. It's happened. Just try and move on. Try not to do it again, please. Just think about them being a human being. Would you want someone to do that to your mum, your dad, your sister, brother, etc.? You wouldn't. So have a little bit of respect for people and act in a better way. And also from the other side, if you are someone who is a gambler who is very much in the detail, they cannot stop, they're struggling, it's emotionally impacting their life in a bad way, drop us a message. We're more than happy to speak to you guys about it, and you can get the resources and help you need online as well. We'll pop a link in the description. There's a lot of people who do suffer, and I'm sure there's some people who watch our podcast who are probably involved in tennis betting on a regular basis. Don't keep it to yourself. Talk to people. I can understand what it's like. Not that I've ever been through it myself, but I've had experience with people who have. And the best thing in any problems in life is always to speak and be open. Don't do it in secret. Don't let it eat you up. And don't feel too ashamed to speak about it.
Well, I'm going to tell you something very honest right now. I actually had a bet on today, and it got let down by two people.
Wasn't Garcia, was it?
Hubie Hurkacz lost today. I felt a bit sorry for him, to be honest. We've met him in person. I wouldn't hold anything against him if I was to meet Hubie Hurkacz again in person. He was a lovely, lovely guy. And Adrian Manarino, he lost. I mean, he was 5-2 up in the fourth set. I was like, what are you doing? He came back and he lost in the tiebreak. That's tennis. That's what happens. Unfortunately, there you go. £5 down the drain, and I'll look at it tomorrow and think that was a bit silly, but it was a bit of fun. That's the way it should be. It should be fun. I've wasted my money. What more can I say on that count? But it made me very invested in the Manarino match, and it was an incredible match against David Goffin. So there you go.
I'm going to have a look at the GTL Instagram account now to make sure you've not sent any messages to the Hurkacz and Manarino.
Yeah, Hurkacz. I blocked Hurkacz now. I haven't really. Yeah, Jess Bagula has just said, yep, the constant death threats and family threats are normal now. Win or lose. I mean, win or lose. I mean, that's even worse. Win or lose. Like, what? So she can even help somebody win money and still receive them. Ridiculous. I mean, come on. And then we also had, it seems like all the Americans are the ones speaking out as well, and eager. Francis TFO as well. He's obviously suffered his own fair share. I think he's spoken about them in the past, like racist abuse, that type of thing. I mean, it's just disgusting. I mean, we get the same thing in football as well, where whole loads of fans of people are banned from stadiums because England team have received abuse in foreign lands, and the other country had to be banned from future matches. I mean, it's actually disgusting. I don't know who goes out of their way to act like this when they go to watch sport. I mean, but it's like barbaric. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. No, it certainly has been, and hopefully we can improve and get through this in a better and more positive way, with people learning the lessons. And as a country, as a tennis world united, we can be a little bit more positive to the players who we love. At the end of the day, people are watching them because they enjoy watching tennis, and I think we all need to have a better attitude towards it. But thank you everyone for watching. That is just a quick little podcast to discuss some of the online abuse some of the players have been getting. I would say some, but I think it's all of them. I think every single player will have a story of online abuse. If you are someone who does it, don't do it anymore. You're making yourself look stupid, and it's not a good reflection on you. And I hope you do get punished for it. Please try and stop. Think about the players, think about the families, and move on. But let us know your thoughts in the comment section, and if you haven't already, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you soon.